Hey everybody, it's me, Amanda G, aka the Used Car Queen, aka Car Amanda, aka proud owner of Gojo Auto here in Denver, Colorado, and this is the Possibility Playbook podcast. For so many years, I was told, you've got so much potential, you've got so much possibility, you could be so much more, and I hated it until I started living in my possibility, and I'm here to talk about it. And with me today is none other than industry icon, fellow co-founder of Women of Color Automotive Network, and general manager of Walzer Hyundai, the Erikka Tiffani. Hey girl, hey. Woo! Everybody's
Hello,
cheering.
Amanda.
Hi Erikka, thank you sister for joining me. I know we are just coming off of a hellacious week that was full of love and excitement in Miami at WOCAN, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Tell me about NAMAD and WOCAN. What was the vibe? Talk to me.
Oh, it was amazing. We set the tone, right? This was the first time that we actually did our event prior to. And there was a little hesitation. How would this go? Would people attend, right? It's the day before the conference actually starts. But when I say that we warmed up the crowd, we got everybody vibing. It was just an awesome and excellent experience. There wasn't the pressure of having too many things going on at once. There wasn't the conflict of, do I choose this event or that one? Or, hey, I really wanted to come, but I had something else pressing. People were there, they were present, they were in the moment, and we had a phenomenal time.
I agree because typically there's a lot of dealer meetings that some of our women members experience. There's next gen, there's a lot going on, and we were day one. I mean, we were before the reception for
Before the
NAMAD.
kickoff party, right?
Right, right. And for those that don't know, NAMAD is the National Association of Minority Auto Dealers. And WOCAN, which was founded 6 years ago, and this was our fifth annual event, is Women of Color Automotive Network, and it's embedded inside of NAMAD. And so NAMAD celebrated 47 years, if I'm not mistaken. Like, wow. It was in Miami at the Fontainebleau, and it was just phenomenal. Now there was a little hiccup. Should we talk about it?
Absolutely.
Because I think without adversity, you don't get stronger, right? So let's talk about that little oopsie that happened during the WOCAN event.
Yeah, it's so funny because we as people of color are a little unserious, as you would say, Amanda.
So unserious.
We're actually in this moment of like peace, right? We have one of our presenters. We're getting ready to talk about our scholarship winners, and we're talking about kind of being in the moment, taking a chance to breathe and center yourself. And hey, you've got to save yourself before you save someone else. Put on your oxygen mask, and we're like
Yes.
counting down in this moment, and all of a sudden you hear. Right, and the lights are flashing, and we're all kind of talking, and we're kind of looking around again. You know,
And
if
you
we don't
hear a
see
faint
people
voice in
running,
the back. You heard a
uh,
faint voice in the back,
yeah,
like,
a little robotic voice. Please exit immediately, right? And so until I see someone running, I can't really tell it's an emergency.
right, right. And I didn't see a fire. I did
I
not see
didn't
no
smell
fire.
smoke. So, much like when you're at the airport and those false alarms go off and you look left, you look right, like they're gonna
Right,
be all right.
right.
That's kind of how we treated it until some of the men in the room started getting a little bit more serious, saying, "No, lies, let's get out of here, let's go." And
It's so
thank
true.
God for them, right?
No, shout out to the men who were like, no, okay, it's been 3 minutes now.
Right, leave your bag, leave your purse, let's go, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Except I scooped my bag and my. Yeah. But and so the fire alarm went off. We all exited properly, and then it was only about 5 minutes, and then we were all able to come back, reconvene, and keep the party going. So that was
yeah,
great.
yeah, that's the
Um,
resiliency of who we are, right? We can pivot on a dime, we can handle any challenges. There's nothing that's gonna stop us.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of my next questions is, what was your specific highlight
Hmm.
about WOCAN specifically, and then NAMAD as a whole?
My highlight with WOCAN was looking out in the room and just seeing how many people were there. I
Mm,
remember 6 years ago when we first started talking about the first event, and we were like, how many people would show up? And we were fighting because some of us said 15, and I think the highest number was like 30. And there
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
there's no way we're getting 30 people. Like,
yeah,
I believe it. Like, you're
yeah.
crazy. I mean, we're arguing to see if we could get 30 people to show up and participate. And to look out there and know we had 170 registrations, to see so many people who said, "Hey, I was a day one. I was there from the very first one. I've attended all 5 years,"
Mm,
was very powerful. And even more so, the idea that this event happened without our blood, sweat, and tears being the
Right.
very backbone of it.
Right. The
Right.
executive team put it all together. And
The executive team.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So at one point, the co-founders, the four of us, you, Carrie, Patrice, and myself, were the worker bees, right? Which we are all high level performers,
Yeah.
got a lot going on in the day to day. And we were not getting paid. Clearly, this is a nonprofit. And then flash forward to last year, we turned it over to the executive team, Ashley as the president, Jessica as the vice president, Erica Bruno, Mabel and Allie,
And
right?
Stephanie. Yeah.
And Stephanie Wedgeworth, and they killed it. Like they killed it.
And you never really know because you're afraid of letting go. You're
Mm-hmm.
afraid of taking something that is your brand, your reputation, your heart, so you poured so much time and energy into it and say, will they pull this off? But half the
Right.
time we didn't know if we would pull it off.
Yep.
But they did a fantastic and beautiful job, not only last year, but this year. It keeps getting better every year, between the speakers, between the presentations, between the workshops that we're doing. It's just like, how are we going to even top this? And every single time, it's just a little bit better.
I think for me, it was also, will they carry the vision?
Sure.
Not just will they, not mess it up, but will they carry the vision? Because we had a very specific tunnel vision mindset when we created this organization, and they absolutely carried that torch. And so shout out to the executive board. It was a phenomenal event. Hopefully I'll be asked to host again.
You were great. When I say you have the charisma, the style, like I just be up there.
Tell me more. No.
I love it. You just have this natural ability to connect with the audience, to have these like improv moments. I mean, your confidence up there is just spectacular. And I just always enjoy seeing you.
As I was telling my hubby, who actually came this year, thankfully, and saw the whole event, and he was very impressed. I was more comfortable this year.
Sure.
I knew everything was put together. I had the deck ahead of time, so I could study it and know what was going on. Our keynote speaker, Vivian too.
Amazing.
I got to talk to her prior to the event, and so I kind of had a feel for her personality, and she was super cool, which made it easier because I don't do divas. There's only one diva allowed. And so it went so smooth. And again, thank you so much to our executive board, and shout out to Carrie Wise for releasing the reins and letting it be, right?
Oh, she still had the monitor button.
She had the clicker.
She had the clicker.
Just the second year in a row, she has the clicker.
When she releases the clicker, I know we have arrived.
Okay. Do you think she's going to release the clicker next year? We're going to hashtag release the clicker.
I like that.
We'll hashtag release the clicker. I'm writing that down. Today's the 16th of August. Will Carrie release the clicker?
It's so nice to see you guys. It's so funny because we're all so close. You guys have become kind of my automotive best friends. And
right.
In real life, you're really like my real life best friend.
I was about to say.
Well, it started
I was
off
getting
like,
low key fit. Wait, automotive.
No, it started off my automotive best friends, and then I look around. I'm like, no, these are my best friends.
Right.
Like these are the things that when life events happen, when something is going on, I'm picking up the phone. I'm saying, let's talk through this. Like, help me with it. And we don't see each other. Denver, Minnesota, Philadelphia, California. I mean, we're on opposite sides of the country, and sometimes it's not until we get to these events that we see each other again. I know this year we're kind of doing some special things and making sure that we take some time to personally connect.
Right.
But it is nice.
But that's still tough to
get
us all together. Yeah.
It is.
And it's a big event that we're celebrating.
Yes, it is.
And I agree with you. I mirror that. You and Carrie are absolutely my real life best friends. And seeing you, but I love how we pick up like we never left.
Absolutely.
It's just, hey, let's go and
time.
Enjoy each other's company. So what was missing from WOCAN, would you say? And then let's go into NAMAD as a whole. If anything, I'm going to say if anything. I'm kind of asking a provocative question because I want to provoke some thought around what can we do to incite a little bit of change, maybe create a little different atmosphere. But if you think it was perfect, I'm okay with that.
So I think what's missing is some real life testimonials. Right. You think
Mm.
about the people who've been with us since day one, the people who've made connections, who've made job changes, who've left a job or added one, or changed industries or changed segments of the industry, both personally, professionally. There's been some mentorship that's happened, some sisterhood that's happened. There's been people who had children, there's people who've gotten a divorce, there's people who've gotten married, right?
Hello.
And have created friendships that started within WOCAN. Right,
Yes.
like I met you on Clubhouse. I met you on one of
Yes.
the videos that
Yes.
we did live on Facebook, and now you are my real life best friend. And so it just amazes me when I see the pictures later and people hanging out and spending time together, and kind of creating those relationships and saying, how has that impacted you? And I think we should create an opportunity for that to be said, right? Whether it's
I
video,
love
whether
that.
it's on the stage. There's people who have had life-changing moments because of what we do, and I think that's important to share.
I love this because it should be announced what impact the organization is actually having at a social level. Because
Right.
yes, we do scholarships, yes, we do education, yes, we do mentorship, but at the social level, which is right, like the heart and the soul, what is happening? And that's great. It's so funny because um, I was talking to my girl Symphony, and someone was like, "Hey, Amanda, oh, do you know Symphony?" I'm like, "Didn't I introduce you to Symphony?" Like we were all in a triangle trying to fight to see who had introduced us to who, but it was all within WOCAN, and it was phenomenal. It was great. So
Absolutely.
that's a great idea for me. I'm a retired party girl. I like to party when I'm not in bed by 10. I did really good this year.
You did?
You guys always say I'm in bed too early. I lasted until midnight every night, and that was 4 nights in a row.
Okay, Cinderella.
Thank you.
Justin Yella.
That Yeah, 12:01 was done, but
You turned into a pumpkin.
11:59 I was partying. And I would have liked to have seen an after party for WOCAN, in a sense,
Ooh.
like an after reception or an after where we could have kind of continued the party, but more socially.
Yeah, now that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's what I would have liked to
Yeah,
have seen, or not like to have seen then, but maybe next year.
sure. Happy
Right?
hour or some type of kind of
Yeah.
mixer afterwards.
Yes, 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 yes. It's just so we can keep the conversations going. Keep the
Yes,
conversations going.
agreed. For sure.
Um, what makes this conference different for you? We do NADA. I did NIADA this year for the first time because it was here in Colorado at the Gaylord. Um, Goodness, Digital Dealer. What are some, a SOTU? I know you're a fan of a SOTU conference. What makes NAMAD so different from the other conferences for you?
Well, for me, outside of the obvious, right, that it's a minority dealer association, right? Like when I'm
Mhm.
walking around, I no longer have to feel like the only one, right? I am seeing people that look like me. That it feels like a big family reunion, Amanda,
Yes,
right? Like
yes,
you're giving hugs. The pretentiousness goes off, the mask
yeah,
comes off.
yeah,
You start
yeah,
having real conversations. How's your store? What's been going on? I've seen you
yeah.
on social media, right? And it starts to feel like a genuine connections of people helping people,
Mhm.
right? Like genuinely having an interest in your best interest. Where some of these bigger conferences, you're walking around, you're feeling nervous, you feel out of place, you don't feel like you necessarily belong, you don't see anyone who's connecting the dots with you, or it's kind of that kind of fake high in passing that like
Yeah,
nod and go.
yeah,
This is an environment where people are going to stop you and grab you for a second and give you your flowers. And I think that
yep,
is such a beautiful thing.
yep. I couldn't agree more. The words that come to mind for me are it's intimate
Hmm.
and inclusive.
Ooh, you couldn't have said
And
it better.
And
Absolutely.
so when we're walking around, you're bumping into people who own 10, 20, 30 dealerships. You're
Yep.
bumping into the OEMs. You're bumping into vendors that have connections that can help your store scale.
Yep.
You're bumping into the people that are making decisions. You're bumping into the people who know what's going on in the industry at your particular level. And at some of these bigger conferences, to your point, you just don't get that. You're just lost in the crowd trying to
Well,
figure
well,
out, trying to read badges and see who's got the red banner or the blue banner. And
for sure. And to your point, outside of a like small percentage, everything's extremely open. This isn't like a for general managers only session or
Correct.
for owners only session. Like you
Yeah,
have an opportunity to listen and learn and be a part of every group, every event, every, presentation, whether you are a salesperson, whether you are an admin, whether you own the dealership, we're all together. And
that's
that
right.
kind of creates, to your point, that inclusivity.
I think also this is the only conference that I know of where you see the integration of all the departments.
Sure.
Typically at the other conferences, it's high. If you're not an owner or a managing partner, don't even think about it. But here you have salespeople, you have admin, you have people that work in every part of the store, because every part of the store is equally as important as far as I'm concerned. I can't sell a car if my lot tech's not making sure that car is right. Right? If my books aren't right, I don't have a business. So my admin team is equally as important as the salespeople on the front lines and the managers that are creating the magic. So it's great to be affiliated with everyone, because we all matter
Absolutely.
in the dealership space. Um, I want to do a side note about. Did you get to see the hot Cheetos guy?
I did not. Tell me about it. Oh,
Dang,
that's right. The one that
I didn't get to see
created.
the hot Cheetos
Oh,
guy. I
I heard.
saw a post from Carrie. So the gentleman who invented hot Cheetos was the keynote speaker at NAMAD. And I guess he has a phenomenal story. I was hoping you had seen the hot Cheetos guy, but let's kick back to our speaker, Vivian too. She had
Incredible.
all the pizzazz in the world. Okay, this woman has 10 million followers. Yeah, I had to pause for that because that's insane. And she
Million.
knows her stuff when it comes to the financial space. And so she taught us just some little tidbits, right? Some little takeaways about how to, I call it purse first, protect your purse. And that's just count your coins
Mm-hmm.
and keep your money close to you. And the
FU
way she
money.
delivered it, yeah, and new money. And one of my girlfriends who is kind of connected to the money space just adored Vivian and said that she did great. And so I wanted to take a moment to just shout out the keynote speaker. We have had some hella fly keynote
Yes, we have.
speakers.
For sure.
I mean, last year was Stacey Abrams. We had Janice Smith, who was the real scandal. She
Mm-hmm.
was the real scandal. Christy Rutherford was it?
Amazing.
We've had her
Life coach.
twice.
She was
Life
great.
coach, bomb. Weird. So if anybody out there wants to speak at WOCAN that's on that level, bring it. We've had some killer speakers. I'd like to see you speak, Erikka.
I will claim that. I will claim that. Soon. When the time is right.
For a fee too. Charge.
Okay. Now you're talking my language.
Time is money, honey.
I
All
love it.
right. Um, okay, let's talk about conferences as a concept.
Okay.
Why are conferences so important? And what was your first conference? What popped your conference cherry?
So
And why are they important to you?
my first conference was actually Digital Dealer.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I got to go, I was working for the Jim Ellis Group, a big group in Atlanta, and I'm working at Audi at the time. And the platform director could not go. And he had a conflict. He had already booked his flight, his ticket, his room. And, I was not a high powered anything. I was just an internet director at the time of one store. He ran all 15 of our locations. And he said, "Hey, Erikka, you know what? You're always asking good questions. You're always like asking me like what I can do to help and make sure your performance at your store is better." He's like, "There's this conference and I can't go and I'd hate for my ticket to go to waste. Why don't you take my hotel, take my flight, take my ticket?" And it's so interesting because when someone, you don't look at allies that way all the time, but like someone that's an ally is someone that gives you their privilege
Oh
and says,
yeah.
"Hey, like go on my behalf." And while it wasn't something that was like a specific invitation directly for me, I took advantage of that. And I'm at this conference and I'm like, "Oh my God, automotive is so much bigger than my little tiny dealership in Marietta." And from that point on, I started doing my research. What else is out there? What other conferences? What am I missing? And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started to see people like Carrie Wise. And the first time I saw Carrie Wise, I mean, I'm blown away, right? I tell her all the time that she went through the window so that I could walk through the door, right? Like it's like
Oh,
to see someone who looks like me on a stage that big, speaking so powerfully with confidence, with pizzazz and charisma, and to say, could I do something like that one time? Could I stand in front of a group of people and talk about my experience in automotive, and give them have them writing notes and taking pictures of slides? Like, that was so impressive to me. And while we didn't become friends that day, which she'll tell you that story, she says I was stuck up. She's like, girl, you was
You
stuck up. You
do.
wasn't giving.
Wait, pause. Because sis, you do have that face. You're not
I just
wearing
be
that face right now. You're not wearing
I
that
just
face
be
right now.
in my own world because I'm a little weird. And so when weird people are out, like, we just like,
You are unique. You are unique.
are you noticing what I'm noticing? Right? Like, so I'm like kind of closed off. I'm not feeling comfortable at the time. And again, when we talk about the difference between WOCAN and NAMAD and how I felt at that conference versus how I feel when I'm at NAMAD now,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
completely different. But that took time. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what we're offering
Yes.
women, as an opportunity to not be the wallflower, to not feel like they're alone, to not feel like someone's not going to come up and say, hey, how are you? What industry you're in? How, like, where, tell me how you got here. How did you hear about us? Like, we're
Yep.
very inclusive. So yeah, I think about my first conference, and that was, man, now almost a decade ago, since the very
Jesus.
first one. And to your point, not only have I been a part of dozens since then, but I have got to spend time on a stage, not only
Yes.
with my WOCAN sisters, but uh,
Multiple stages.
doing presentation.
Keynote.
Yes. And
Keynote.
who would have known? God is good.
I have to ask you. So when Homeboy says, Erikka, I've got this deluxe luxury package to this conference that you have never heard about, where you like, oh no, are you sure? I don't know. Should I? Why me? Do you want to give it to Harry instead, or were you like, snatch?
No,
Give me
I
the trip.
definitely, I definitely was snatched, but I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
those are
so
the
what do I
best.
do there? Am I
Those are
supposed to
the
bring
best.
something back? Like, just, she's like, just show up. And that's when I
Yep.
realized too, some of the people that we idol were like thinking that it's just this big thing, and
They don't
and
have it
everything.
figured out. They don't
No,
have
they
it
don't
figured
got it.
out.
They
No,
just
they
go
don't.
to
Yep.
show up.
So I have to tell you my conference story,
Please do.
because it absolutely ties into yours. It was about 10 years ago. I was the general manager of an independent dealership.
Okay.
Okay, I was the only employee, so I was generally managing myself. It's not funny, Erikka.
You're
I was the general
hilarious.
manager. And, and
Managing
so
everything in general.
everything in general, honey, it was getting managed very well. And I started researching, like, I want to get more involved in automotive. Like, I'm stuck. What's next for me? And so I started Googling different conferences. I actually went and talked to a gentleman who worked at my old store, Mile High Honda, and he said, have you heard of NAMAD? And that's when I heard about NAMAD. And then I started researching NAMAD, and then I researched some other conferences, and I found driving sales. And I called them and said, hey, I want to volunteer. I don't know what that means, but I'm a general manager in Denver. I want to immerse myself in the industry. Do you have anything I can do at your conference? They were like, well,
Wow.
sure. I tell you what, we'll put you up at the Bellagio. That's where the conference is. You get here and we'll give you something to do. I was like, okay, bet. So I fly
Unbelievable.
into the Bellagio, and at the beginning of the conference, I was doing registration. I'm just checking everybody in. And you know my personality, so I'm having fun with it. I'm like, okay, hey, here's your badge. Boom, boom, boom. By the end of the conference, the 3-day conference, I was announcing the keynote speaker, Carrie Wise.
No way.
Yes way. And I had never seen any woman, let alone a woman of color, do her thing, especially at that level, so dynamic. And it was kind of like when we had our first black president. It's like, oh, it can happen. I see that. Now I can be that. And from there on, we became fast friends. Carrie came to a conference, CADA here in Colorado, and invited me. So I went to go see her at
Oh,
CADA.
wow.
And then we went to NAMAD together, our first NAMAD in 2019 or 2020. And so the conference life changed the entire trajectory of my career. I mean,
Wow.
just changed it. And so conferences are so important to me, which kind of segues into my last and final question is, why are they so important for people like us, people in any industry for that matter? Because conferences are a huge thing. It's not just automotive. Like, every industry has a daggone conference. Why do you think they're so important?
One, there's educational and content, right? Obviously, you're
Hmm.
going to go. There's classes, there's resources from people who've been doing it a long time, and I've taken the notes and I've been in those classes. But what I find, because everything that we're learning is continuing to evolve and it changes. By the time
Yes.
next year, some of the stuff we learned at the last conference is already outdated.
Hmm.
But what I feel is not outdated and never changes is the relationships and the connections that you meet. Right? It is someone that you're meeting today that is going to be an intricate part of your puzzle tomorrow. And when you think about what you just said, like, I met Carrie because I introduced her because I volunteered to go to a conference and they just happened to let me be backstage presenting, being there to support the MC. You know, when I think about mine and I'm at an event, which the second conference I ever went to was Women in Automotive. I
Ah,
got an
yes.
opportunity to do a breakout session. I flew all the way to Palm Springs on my own dime. You know, I
Yes.
couldn't wait. I was going to do one on mentoring. And at the last minute, they changed the time of my speech,
Uh-huh.
and I
Uh-huh.
missed it. And I was like crying tears. And right before that, I had met Carrie, and I'm like, you know, I'm walking back and forth and I'm pacing and I'm trying to read my notes. And so I kind of dismissed her a little bit because I'm like, listen, it's nice to meet you, but I got an event to do in a minute. And she said
Right.
she was panicking, looking for me. She's like, I just saw that girl, Erikka. She was right here. Where is she? Girl, I'm in a broom closet somewhere doing my last little bit of meditation before I go on stage, only to not go on stage. And the
Oh,
disappointment that I felt in that moment, to feel like I had missed my opportunity and I had missed my chance. But I got to meet this incredible woman who didn't miss her opportunity and chance. Until later, when all the pieces came back together, because it was actually through Patrice, who said, listen, I'm looking for someone to help run Girls Auto Clinic. I'm looking for someone to be like the EVP of our
yeah.
organization. I
Yeah.
met this woman named Carrie Wise. She's incredible. You got to
Yeah.
meet her. And I'm like, let me see
And
a
I
picture.
introduced her to
Look
Carrie
at that.
Wise.
That is
Yeah, I
crazy.
did that connection. Yeah.
It is unreal. So look at these pieces that took
Yeah. Yeah.
years, took a
Yeah.
decade for all of
Yeah.
us to kind of come together. And then it was one freaking three-way call that ended up being the very conversation piece to bring us all together to say, hey, have we ever thought about creating something bigger than just this?
Yep.
So
Insane.
insane. What about for you?
Insane. Incredible. I mean, I think absolutely the education, the information, the updates. And for I am a people person, right? You and I always talk about extrovert and introvert. I get life from being around my people and being in. I'm a very active owner. I am in the store 6 days a week, and I'm always working in the business.
Sure.
So to get outside of that and be able to hear ideas that will help me work on the business, grow the business,
Hmm.
grow my team, grow my people, grow myself, is just phenomenal, and it's invaluable. And I can't see not doing conferences, because you never know what you might run into or who you might run into that can completely change the trajectory of your
Yeah.
career, of your life. And that's
Yep.
that. Yeah, so I'm a conference queen. I will be at every conference. I did Women in Automotive also. I had a really early flight, and they wouldn't let me check in, and I fell asleep at the pool and got burnt. This was my first time in the Orlando sun. So I'm walking around the.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was fun. But it was a great conference. It really was a great conference. And so, yes, conference, conference, conference. Okay, last and final. What was your one takeaway, your one value add that you are taking with you from this particular conference, 2026? Ooh.
I think my takeaway is that the best is yet to come. Right?
Mm.
Like, I say it all the time because I couldn't wait to become a general manager. And then now that I am a general manager, I'm like, okay, next step is I want to be a really good general manager. Right.
Okay.
Like, so you think
Okay.
about WOCAN and how far we come, but we didn't come this far to only come this far.
That's right.
Right. To your point,
That's
there's
right.
so much more we can do. When we talk, we're excited about 170 people showing up. And we know conferences could have 1,000,
Thousands. Yeah.
2,000, five
Yes.
thousand people. So
Yes.
we aren't going to be limited to our belief back 5 years ago. Can we get 30 people to show up?
Mm-hmm.
And we're so glad to have the people that are coming up behind us who are going to think bigger, who've been exposed to more, who are going to dream
Yes.
bigger than everything. What does our
Yes.
church say? Do you have it right there? My ancestors' wildest dreams.
Wildest dreams. Yep. Yep. I love that. And we talked the other day about, Oprah just made a statement that women who just turned 44 are just coming into their prime.
Preach.
Like, that's when life begins. I turned
Yes.
44 this year. I'm gonna tell the world you're turning 44 next year.
Yes, I am.
And so So the best is yet to come, right? It
Yes,
absolutely is. We have not seen our greatest days yet.
we have not.
um, Whether that's personally, professionally, friendship, relationship, you name it. And so I love that. And I just want to say thank you so much, Erikka Tiffani, for co-founding WOCAN, for being such a dynamic force in automotive and using your platform to express that. I think you are on social media, you mentor women, you have visibility, and you are what we needed when we
Oh,
first got into the industry. So you're setting the table. I see you. I love you, sis. And thank you for being on the Possibility Playbook, where all things are possible.
thank you so much, Amanda. It's an honor and a pleasure to be able to be on the Possibility Playbook, and I appreciate and I am grateful for you pulling me when I was like, I'm not sure, I don't know. Those are the kind of friends that you need to have in your life, the ones that see you and see parts of you that you don't even see in yourself. And I am grateful to have you as a friend and a sister.
That's right. All right. We will see you next time on the Possibility Playbook.